Okay, we're going to talk about overhead real quick. I'm going to share this screen with you. And here we go. All right, overhead. This is how overhead is figured out at the company level. Oh, come on, give me that. Sorry. Let's do it this way. Boom. So try this again. All right. So it's your annual expected sales. So let's say you expect to do 1.5 million. Your overhead is 360,000. It is your cost of overhead over your annual sales, and that gives you 24%. So since you don't know what your annual sales are going to be, and it's a goal, or maybe you do know that it's going to be at least 1.5, and you absolutely know what a year's worth of overhead is going to be, then you can get a fairly decent number. And so this is the number that you would be using for your estimates. Okay. Here I'm using 30,000 a month, which equals 360,000 a year in overhead. I'm saying 10 working personnel. If I have 10 of them and they work this many hours a month, the allocation rate's 1875. So that 1875 is added to their normal hour, and you'll get 106.75. All right. And so that is what it would actually work out to be if you were doing overhead by hourly rate, which is fine. In estimating, you don't always know this number. You don't know who's going to be applying. You don't know how many workers are going to be there. You don't know a lot. So what you do know is the expected annual sales and your overhead. And so that's where you end up with this 24%, and you work towards making sure that 24% is good. So let's say you end up doing 2 million. All right, now you're down to 18%, but you were estimating it to be 1.5 million, so you've killed it. You gained a percentage on, and you've been charging on your estimating, like we had before at 1.5, and that was 24%. And now your actual overhead was 18% because you did well. And if you do poorly and you only get 750,000 instead of 1.5 million, you blew it by 48% because you're only charging 24%. So there's some business decisions that have to be made. All right. But this is typically the number that you would be using for your overhead number here. So I think 25% is pretty fair. Between 20 and 25% is probably where the industrial numbers are at. So that's how it works out. That's how you figure it out. You find it, you go with your estimated annual sales or expected annual sales over your total cost of office and overhead, and then you get a percentage of that. So you divide your overhead by the expected sales, and you end up with that percentage. Okay, that should do it.